Hello everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar about synchromodal transportation. My name is Massoud Khakdaman and I'm doing my PhD at Delft University of Technology with Professor Lori Tawassi and Dr. Jafar Rezai about the shippers' demand for synchromodal transportation services. We investigated the willingness of shippers to use synchromodal transportation services. Shippers are customers of a transportation service, and they are typically companies like BMW, Adidas, P&G, and so on and so forth, that they put a transportation order to logistics service providers like DHL, DB Schenker, or DSV to send their goods via, for example, containerized transport to different locations around the world. A door-to-door synchromodal service has common attributes such as cost, time, reliability, which means on-time delivery, flexibility, which means changeability of the service components, and value-adding services. In addition, a major requirement for implementing synchromodal transportation is shippers' delegation of control over transportation mode selection at the operational level to the logistics service providers. LSPs, they need this because they want to make real-time decisions to switch between different modes of transportation to address different variations in demand in real time at the operational level. So we consider modal control as a new service attribute for synchromodal transportation, and we considered a premium and budget synchromodal service in our survey, apart from the current transportation service that companies are using. We conducted a large survey among 556 firms chosen from global Fortune 500 companies and major customer firms of the 40 largest global LSPs, 296 professionals from 194 unique firms responded to our survey, which is the largest to date to this type of study, and 20% of the respondents were C-level and top managers, and the rest are senior or middle managers. Companies are very large companies, and 82% of them have more than 10,000 employees, and 72% of them has the revenue of more than 1 billion. And these companies are coming from all different industries and economic sectors, as you can see here. Okay, let's go to the results. Based on our choice experiment and subsequent econometric analysis, we identified 4 different market segments for cost and service level improvements towards the global community of LSPs, freight forwarders, and carriers. As you can see here, we categorized these customer segments based on their willingness to cede modal control and the type of improvement that they seek from a synchromodal service. As you can see, these 2 customer segments, which represent 2/3 of shippers, they are willing to give modal control to receive a high quality service or a better cost. High service level seekers, they account for 36% of the population, and they look for a better quality of service. Cost sensitive risk taking shippers are a group of shippers that they are looking for cheaper service costs. Here, a more detailed explanation of these 4 customer segments are provided based on the segment preferences and characteristics. For example, high service level seekers are currently dissatisfied with the current transportation services that they use. They are highly willing to shift to synchromodal transportation and give modal control to LSPs on condition that they can receive a significant improvement in time, reliability, and flexibility of the transportation service. Industries like industrial goods and equipment, pharmaceutical, and non-cyclical retail like beverages and personal and household products are examples of such industries in this group. These companies are usually extra large enterprises that has like more than 10,000 or sometimes more than 50,000 employees. Their annual revenue is more than 10 billion usually, and we expect them to have a shipment size of less than 25 TEUs to be shipped via synchromodal transportation. The second group are cost-sensitive risk-taking shippers. These guys, they are satisfied with the current transportation service. However, if a synchromodal service can offer a lower price, they are willing to cede their modal control. Example of this customer segment are energy industry and electronic and equipments or parts industries. These companies are also very large enterprises and are expected to put shipment size to put orders, transport orders of less than 25 TEUs as shipment size. The third category are ancillary service seekers. They are not satisfied with current transportation service, and if you can provide a good level of service for value-adding services to them, they are willing to cede modal control to the LSP. Basic materials is an example of this customer segment. And the last segment is cost-sensitive, risk-averse shippers. They are not willing to cede modal control to LSPs because they are currently very satisfied and they don't want to lose control over the modes of transportation. A willingness to pay is a measure for marketability of the synchromodal services. Willingness to pay for each attribute is obtained as the ratio of marginal utility of attribute and the marginal utility of the transportation cost. We consider average price of 1 TEU container for 100 euros. For example, a high service level seeker shipper is willing to pay 36.76 euros for 1 day time reduction and 13 euros for one level of service higher in terms of flexibility of the service. Digging more into the flexibility of the service, here we investigated our database to see what are the contextual factors that drive the willingness of the shippers to use flexible logistics services. We define flexibility as a capability of the transportation service to fulfill shippers' required changes in service components before finalizing the booking or even after goods on their move towards the destination. This change can be in delivery time, location, lead time, deconsolidating or consolidating the volume, and so on and so forth. We found that markets that operate or shippers that operate in markets with highly volatile demand are really willing to use flexible logistics services to address demand uncertainties in their markets. In particular, shipper supply chains that have high volume flexibility, they see flexible logistics services as a complement, or better I say as a supplement to their current capabilities, to be combined to enable them to address a variety of demand uncertainties throughout their chain. In conclusion, we find that more than 2/3 of surveyed shippers are potentially willing to relinquish control over modes and routes to the LSPs if they rewarded by desirable service or cost improvements. 4 distinct market segments were identified in this study with a different nature of demand for services. Segments indicate opportunity for a variety of transportation service improvements. while low-cost synchromodal services could be in demand from 3 out of 4 segments. The first and largest segment favors a premium synchromodal transportation service and has a remarkably high willingness to pay for that. And the flexibility of logistic services are really in demand for companies operating in demand volatile markets and have high volume flexibility in their supply chain. LSPs can use the results of this survey and our study to design tailor-made service packages based on the needs of different customer segments in their market. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and I wish you a good day ahead.